Good afternoon, late afternoon on Friday. This is Paul from Paxtons for Ian and Paul. Firstly, obviously, sorry for your loss. Always a really, really difficult time, but hopefully that things will become easier as time goes by. It's one of the sad things that we all have to face, I'm afraid, in life, but I do wish you well. And in regards to the property and so on, if I can be of further assistance following this video valuation report, obviously I'd like to help in any way that you feel I may be able to do. I've been to the property today and met Judith, and it's a really nice property. You know, where it is absolutely great. It's something that you could pass by, and I have passed by many hundreds of times without actually realizing it was there, because it's well shielded from the road. It's set well back on the plot, which is really, really nice. And, you know, I love the frontage. I was saying to Judith that it reminds me very much of a house that we rented on the side of Loch Ness back in 2007 through to 2011, after we built a house up there for ourselves. And it was the frontage was so similar. You know, it had a roundabout at the front which you drive round, but all the trees and the shrubbery and everything was really similar. It's got a nice feel to it, the plot, and obviously it's got a lot of width to it as well. So the bungalow needs some updating, as you know, but I think it's got a huge amount of potential that if someone wanted to extend onto it, they could probably put a garage where the courtyard is, which would help the utility room to form part of the property. And with the size of the utility room, you know, I was saying to Judith that it would make a great work from home office as well. You could easily separate it off with a stud wall with a bit of insulation, so you don't hear the washing machine trundling away or whatever. But it's really useful. I think the thing is about chalet bungalows, you've got 2 bedrooms down, you've got 2 bedrooms up, is that they tend to be incredibly versatile in that you can adjust the accommodation to suit your needs, whether you've got an elderly relative staying with you, whether it's mother, father, or whatever it may be, is that it means that one of the rooms downstairs could easily become a bedroom for them. Whereas one of the other ground floor bedroom, if you only needed 2 bedrooms and they were both upstairs, the other room downstairs could make a work from home office or whatever. So there's a lot of flexibility. The lounge is a really good size, you know, with the open fireplace. I think the likelihood, dining rooms were very much in demand in the 80s, 90s, probably the 70s as well. But they've become rather obsolete now. I don't think that you know, you've got quite a big dining room in the family home, and we tend not to use it very often. I've often said to my wife about making it into a family room. You know, we've got teenage and older children, so making it into a family room rather than having it as a dining room that only gets used periodically. So I think the fact that the dining room, the kitchen really abut one another, it would be fairly simplistic to you know, I don't know whether it's a low bearing wall or not, but you put an RSJ in there anyway to support, but to open that up and provide a big kitchen and breakfast room, which is very vogue these days, particularly in family type properties. So I think that's probably, if I was to buy the property, that's very much in my thinking in terms of what I would do. Again, the shower room upstairs would easily fit a bath as well, which I think makes it a nice combination room upstairs. And you know, just subject to drainage where the sewer stack is and so on, but I think that's all very doable. Bathroom downstairs, single garage. You know, someone's, you know, going back to the kitchen and dining room, if someone was to modernise, the likelihood is they would take out the gas-fired boiler that's there. Potentially, if it was my suggestion, it would be to put in a a more economical heating system, and that would be a more environmentally friendly, which would be air source heating, which is very, very in at the moment. I really like the concept. The cost is pretty expensive. Yeah, I think probably around 14,000. But my understanding is that the government give grants on this. Someone I know in their bungalow down in Yarnbrook, they've just had it done. They've just had heat source installed. Cost was 14,000. The government gave them a grant of 10,000, so that reduces the cost down dramatically. And the cost of running it is really, really good as well. So that's my understanding. So I think that's really good points. As I say, it needs some updating, but I think in truth, probably terms, it would make a really, really nice property in what is a nice location on a really nice plot. So I think there's a huge amount going for it. It's incredibly unique. It's a bit of a one-off in many respects. I say when you've got a property that's not on an estate like Paxcroft Mead or any of the developments around West Ashton Road, they tend to command a price of their own in a way. And when it comes to pricing them, some of the ones I go to, I can pretty well know the price within a few £1,000 before I even go. With something like the Shelley Bungalow, number 9, it's a little bit different, and it really will commandeer its own price, in my opinion. So I wouldn't give a price when I was there because I didn't feel it was right to do, although the figure I had in mind is still, when I was there, is still the figure that I have in mind now. I had to go off and do another valuation after in Melksham, got back, had a chat with Sarah. We discussed it in between phone calls and people coming in. And Sarah was less than me, in fairness, but she hadn't seen it. And it is difficult valuing. I took some photos of the front drive and garden, which Julie said was fine, which I showed to her, so at least she could have an idea of what the property looked like. So I came out, my opinion is that there are many properties that really are very, very difficult to put an exact figure on. And I think that, the old adage of property is only worth what something's willing to pay for it very much comes into play. I think certainly in the case of the Shelley Bungalow. So I think there's probably a couple of different concepts in terms of marketing. For me, the ideal is marketing as a guide price. So you let it find its own value, whether it goes under the quoted figure or preferably over the quoted figure. And what I've got in mind is, what's in my thinking is a figure of 450, guide price 450. Sarah was less than me, in all honesty. She was nearer the 400 mark. I tried to justify to her why that was in my thinking. And I think, the way I tend to look at it is try to look at it as a potential buyer rather than an estate agent. And as I said to Sarah, what would you pay for it? Not what would you value it at? Because sometimes they can be different concepts, because someone would potentially pay a higher figure than the figure you think because it's exactly what they want. Or sometimes they might think it's worth less than you've actually valued the property at. So it's very subjective. It's very much a matter of opinion, but it's very much what a buyer will pay. It's not necessarily the figure that I'd value the property at, and it's not necessarily the figure that you would want. It's what the market would command and what a buyer would be willing to pay. So I hope that all makes sense. So for me, I think for probate purposes and marketing purposes, the figure for me would be 450. I have no idea what's in your thinking. I didn't have that conversation with Judith. I didn't ask that question. And I wouldn't let any figure that someone suggested to me to influence my thinking. I think, for me, it's about being totally honest and upfront and totally transparent in terms of what I truly think a value of a property is. So a little bit about me. I have been in a estate agency for 35 years. Initially started in 1974 straight out of school. I came out of agency in the early 80s. I worked for Tarmac as sales and marketing director for McLean Home South East Limited, which was one of the subsidiary companies. I joined Skanska Building fairly soon after leaving there. I went freelancing for a bit, and I joined Skanska, which is a Swedish company, second biggest construction company in the world, as project manager on some pretty big projects. The last one for Skanska was the Home Office in London, 200 million refurb. I then moved on to Fort Augustus, the one I was discussing with Judith, which was the conversion of the Benedictine Abbey in Fort Augustus into 99 apartments and building 12 houses and all the ancillary work such as the cloisters or the externals. The conversion of the clock tower, the conversion of the bell tower, and the building of, I can't remember, 8 apartments on what was originally the old Bastion wall. So that's my experience, and obviously then I came back into agency and opened up Paxtons 7 years ago, as I felt that there was an opportunity for someone looking really to be more customer service focused rather than money focused. For me, it is all about service. It's about getting the service right. If I think about money first and the service second, then I'm going to fall flat on my face, as I think many companies do. My view and ethos is that if you get the service right, then the money will follow. But it should never be your prime main focal point. I think it's about you, about what you do, and then you're rewarded accordingly if you get it right. We were awarded Best Estate Agent for Trowbridge for 2021 by the British Property Awards probably a couple of weeks ago, and today we received the award for Best Estate Agent for Southern Wiltshire region for 2021, again by the British Property Awards. We were awarded Best Lettings Agent for Trowbridge for 2019 and 20 by, again, the British Property Awards, and we won the Silver Award for Southern Wiltshire. Last week we won the award for Best Performing Estate Agent for BA14. So I think it gives you a bit of a feel for us as a business, me as an individual, my business built on honesty and truth, integrity, transparency. It's about doing the right thing. I've got a team of people who are exceptional, and I say it, and I'm really, really thankful for that. It just doesn't get any better. We have many varied skill sets in this office in terms of what we can all offer. Mine is really varied. I do a lot of probate work. I've just set up an arm to my business dealing with probate, Alzheimer's, dementia, care homes, and so on, which is literally just been finalised. I'm setting up, or have set up, a new homes department for developers, but also for new homes buyers as well. We're just setting up another arm to the business, which is to do with property search for clients who may be overseas or wherever, who are looking for property in the southwest of England. So we've got a building team, took on 4 new people in the last 6 months. Who form part of the team. One who is an ex-lawyer, legal executive, conveyancer, who was with the same solicitors practice in Bradford and Avon for 39 years. So Nick comes with a vast amount of experience and is a fantastic guy. So, I think we've got a lot to offer as a team of people. We've all got the same sort of ethos, ethics, morals, integrity, which is really what you want, I think. When you're looking for a business, you can look at our reviews on Google, Facebook, wherever. We advertise on Rightmove, on the market, booming. We do a lot of Facebook advertising on Instagram and LinkedIn. We have a YouTube channel as well, which is under Paxtons Estate Agents. You can see pretty well everything we post up there. I do a lot of vlogs similar to this, but it would be on a completely different concept. And I do a lot of interviews with either clients or with solicitors, HR consultants, and so on and so on. So we try and do as much as we possibly can in terms of a business, giving help, guidance, direction in any shape or form that we're able, that fits within our skill set. So it would be great to be able to work with you. I'd welcome the opportunity. It would be good to meet you both at some stage if that opportunity comes, and I'd welcome that opportunity. You're seeing me sort of face to face now, but unfortunately you're not, virtually rather than reality. I'm more than happy to meet up with both of you at a time to suit you both, so that we can discuss the matter further and you could ask me any questions that you may have face to face, and I will endeavour to answer them, and if I can't, then I'll look to find the answer for you. So I think that's about it for me. I hope you have a good weekend as much as you possibly can. I will send this hard copy, but obviously the solicitors will need a hard copy as well, which will either come to you tonight or first thing in the morning. This will take a while to download. It will come to you via WeTransfer, so you'll know that when you open up, you will have had to download the file. But I hope this is self-explanatory. I hope it's not too long, and I hope you haven't got too bored listening to everything I said. And say, if there's anything else I can help you with, my telephone number is 01225 777 696. And you can email me personally at Paul, Paul, at paxtonsresidential.co.uk. Many thanks. Have a good weekend. Bye.